TT, Cholo. The first T, Kitlo. The second T, Theophilus, but one bija Theo. Well, C, Cholo is my surname. I was born in 1925. But in the books of apartheid, I was born in 1926. There is a reason that I used 1926. You know, I was born in Hamatala Atawa in Limpopo. My family was not living very far from Mushate or Hamatala, our king. If you were walking from my parents' home to Mushate, Hamatala, Mukuku, it would take perhaps plus minus 30 minutes, come out to calculate a matter of 5 minutes. It's just in between. Well, the life of South Africa, or I should say, I was born during the heat of apartheid government. But that time I was born, I seem to think that it was United Party, or it was the Afrikaner government which was ruling South Africa by then. Well, just like any child under oppression and exploitation, life is very tough, but when you are still very young, you don't seem to see it until you are grew up, full up a human being, or full up a man or a woman. Perhaps one would pose a question that why do you say full up to be a man or a woman? Well, internationally, they say when you are a full grown-up person, where perhaps you would be given an opportunity of even you can become a king or a leader in the community, is when you are 18 years. That is international agreement. Well, where I was born, because of shortage of land, which the land has been grabbed up by the oppressors earlier before I was born. And it was not only the land which was short, also rearing of animals like cows, goats, sheep, except chicken that perhaps you would have enough just to slaughter, but not to breed. The grazing of cattle or animals becoming very, very, very short. It became very short because many people were having cows, cattle, sheep, and even donkeys. And in our area, horse, it was very scarce. Mule, it was also very, very scarce. You would perhaps find few families that would rear horses or mules. But donkeys, yes, you would have more, even more than 5 or 6 and so on. You would have them. But now the land of grazing of animal is becoming short. We left the place where I was born to a certain area called Makala. Makala is a far distance from Hamatala, but it still falls under the Matala area, where grazing was more or less, I would say, galore at that time. And but it's been called Mirage. Mirage means, you know, it's where you are taking your animal to go and graze. We went to the Mirage at the time being left parents at Hamatala near the Mushate. Cattle were driven there to go and graze grass there. When time goes on, the whole family left Nati Mushate, not only Cholo's family, but other families. They went to Mirage. See? Where animal would able to graze enough, and even also to reproduce some other young animals. When the community of Hamatala find that no, we can now going to live where near to our animals, they left the place and going to reside near to the animals where there is big grass, water, although water it was also scarce. In 1930, between early 1930s, we left that area. I think in 1932 or 33, there were enough people at Makala where they thought they must build school. And that school, it ended with a standard 4. Then I was at the age of between 12 or 14. Then I went to the school, that school. You start with standard A and B at that school until standard 4. That is A, B, 1, 2, 3, 4, that it ends there. Many people have ended in standard 4 and went to look for a better greening areas. They went to the place near Hamatala where the bulls were plowing matlohomani, peanuts. Le fola. Fola matlohomani, potatoes as well. Then our people around there would going to be hired by the bulls in that area. And of course, you pose a question, an interesting question, that now, how did it come that now you are now a politician? What made me to become, what made me to, I was asking myself the time, why my parents are so, look to be very poor. Yes, we had some few cattle, but what becoming very strange with me is the way how my parents lived. I could not ask anybody that why my parents would live like that. They would live with the very poor conditions. But yet we get some cattle, a few cattle. Why couldn't you sell them? There was no near market around where we were staying. Just like any child in that area, they grew like I grew with them. But when they reached the stage that I said no, when they were about 17 or 16, they would leave. the area, going to work under the Boers, Maburu. I think in 1940s, things become, I've put down to differentiate white and black. That no, this is black, this is white. When they left, I remained at home, but I wanted all to follow them. That is my purse, takachaka, my purse. But my father said, no, you better go to school, you must study. I said, no, I've grown up. Among the youngest, I was the eldest among during my time. Then I said, no, something because those, my purse, you know, if I thought Christmas in high, paragili masantas. Well, I never expect a mouth to come to you. When about Perima Santasi, I think that's quite tender shoes. Masantas, Anchi, but the Jella Parajora. Masantas, Masantas, Semal, Akahone be improved. So they were flat, Masantas. Then I said to my parents that no, I want to go into work and so that I can able to pay, I will able to buy Masandasi, the Maroccan car, Marocco very banal di Haswa. Ha here, there are Pesacaro, who was not the shop of the housing children, unless by Maburuba Vereka. It became a time that no, I can ask the question or not. Matata ka manchimo hai baba I was wrong. Of course, I think at the age of 16, you remember I said no, I went to school between 19, I was at the age of 13 or 14. But at the age when I was reaching 16 years, I left the place to go to start at a place called Karlsruhe, where the standard of education was a little bit higher. They started was the standard ending at standard 5, but as time goes on, standard 6, they are allowed to standard 6 to be there. Then I was already reaching standard 4 when I was attending school. So since I said no, that school, Makala baby, Moleham. Makala is really name that came later. But Moleham is it's been named after the German name, Moleham. Then I went to Karlsruhe to study when I finished standard 4, to study standard 5 and 4. But I could see that no. Usually strangers coming into my village, but relatives, but only a movement in my family place. But I said, no, man, I don't know. Why until my father, he was one of the African National Congress. He was one of the founders of the African Nation in 1919, before I was born. You know, I was born in 1925. 1919, ANC was established in the Hamatala. You know, like in other places, usually you don't ask many questions what you hold. But you want to come in the room, see? Because whole we share question about when now we share too much question when. haona tlhompho. Well, ke bophelo ba ko mahaeng, life at home, at rural areas. Well, at Karlsruhe, I've met some other students. I became friends with them. But at my Makala, my place, all my age persons, they were left. They were all gone. By Lonya Mereko, Komaburu, Kappa, Baile, Polukwani, by Bija Petersburg, Kappa, Piperas, by Bija Mukwapan. Now I said to my parents, it's enough, it's enough. I was already standard, I passed standard 4, quite high, standard 5, Karlsruhe, standard 6. Then, 1944, I started standard 6. 1944. 1984, ifela. Then I decided I was going to look for a job in Johannesburg. Already, my fellow young boys around here, some of them are already working in Johannesburg. For instance, Shatrat Poko, Ibali Johannesburg, Prata Rahai, Heyman, Poko. So I decided that no, I must ask Shatrak to go with him to Johannesburg to go and look for a job. But my father didn't like this. He wanted me to go to school to increase education, but I was tired. I said, no, Shatrak, I was at home for Christmas, 1994. I said to Shatrak, when you leave here, please leave with me. I'm going to look for a job in Johannesburg. And indeed, in January 1995, I left with Shatrak. Am I right? No, that's in 1994. Shatrak was at home for Christmas. Then I said, when you go back, I would like to go with you, Shatrak Pogo. Then he said, it's all right. Then we left. I left with him in January of 1995 to come to Johannesburg. And then we left home at Amatala to Johannesburg. Then it's where my eyes became open. That matata, oppression is there, exploitation is there. But why you are Maria Bona? Then I was looking for a job. Shatraka was working because he came home on a leave. Then he went to Johannesburg to his work. Looking for a job in Johannesburg, it was not an easy thing. I ended up being arrested. Arrested because permit for looking for a job, it was finished, it was ended. So I was arrested, kept in police station for 3 to 4 days. The reason why I did not have a special service just ended. I was arrested kept in jail for I think 3 days. I was arrested on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Monday we were taken to court at Forsbeck. Forsbeck is where the magistrate of Johannesburg is there. processing people who was arrested under lack of having passes. Like me, the special of looking for a job, it was finished, it was ended. But after arrest, I was kept in jail for 3 days. The 4th day, you went to a magistrate to account why I did not have the right special of looking for a job. But I was found not guilty. I was warned that no, I must get the right special. So in the magistrate, they found me not guilty. But I was warned I must get the right pass. What has happened is that Masterata umpile warning. Return back to Matala Ataba. Hey, I didn't want to go back. Then, because I was giving him a warning, I went to get a new stamp for looking for a job at the same place at Forsbeck. They gave me a special pass. And somebody told me that, no, you must have a special pass, otherwise you're going to be arrested. Yeah, indeed, I get that special. I decided not to choose the job because I was choosy. I wanted a better job because I could read and write. On that week, I volunteered to go and work in the gardens. I went to past office to go and to get, I understood there is a past office. So I decided to go there. Perhaps I'll pick up a luck to go into work at nursery. Nursery are different. Masusoleng is a young Communist Party, no, the working class party before I joined the IANC. Kitsene ANC ka bona bophelo ba batho no bonyaka le nna ke ba joina hlole tukulugo freedom. Motho a joina sa ANC ga sa phela e be le moera wa ka John Nkadimeng from Gaskhukhune ka 1952. Ke joine mo e le o joine sa ba le o tswa kholehong tswa e ba le ba tshwere go kholehong a tshwarisitse ke maburu a mo tshwarisitse ba re o nyatsa magoa yale le nna ka baka leo ka re no I must join the African National Congress. I will no one join some umpakarata in place called Chibi's Town. It was Chibi's Town. So like a join such a lady. Busola ke botswaine ka baka la hore go bona le pitso e bitsiwa ba re no mapkhenya ka mavolunteer o joina hore re ba romele ba entwe ba ithuta di thaba dintwa le tsa go lwana ke joinisha ke o mongwe mogwera wa ka wena be le sejana le mengwaga le ka moo ke le in 1962 ke a bona ka go bona gore no ke tshwanetse gore ke ithute bosole ke ba nkgetha ANC nkgetha gore ke go joina bosole. But before ke joina bosole, be se ke joine le khotla la babereki re ke SACTO, South African Congress of Trade Union. Go joina aka ke joina ke trade union re no go tshwantse go ithuta dithuto tsa union. Mo bukeng ke ngwale ditaba tse dintšhi tla nyaka le reka lena le tle le kgone go bala. You must have the copy. There are quite very interesting stories jana mo. Buka ke ngwadisa ke setse ke boya go trainer abroad. I was trained to a place called Soviet Union. Para ke Russian ka lena le lengwe. Ke ngwadile setse ke boya mo ke ithutile lo ja bosole le lo ja trade union tsa babereki ka be ke ngwala buka ena le ditaba tse le reno ka tle re botse ke motho le wena o di bala mo ta bona o tshwanelo le wena buka yona le yona le o joine batho ba se ba joine pele hao ena le bo Mandela ke a tshepa le Mandela la mtsiba le bo motswaledi ba hona ka mohare ka mo ho e rekile gore o ta khwetsa di karaba tse dingwe tse le rilo a bithomo ga se ka di araba di tla wa araba ka mo tsa o thusha buka bo Pretoria mona bo e krea mo Vermeulen Street ga opposite le di court shopo ba yona ba bija Miga irisha dibuka se mathoma ke tare ba sekolo ba ithute ba bale ba phatsa thuto ja academic ba tsaba go ipalela bona ka bona le go ngwala sa haholo thakaentshwa lena generational lena gore le lahle setso sa borena sa tlhompho batho ba holo ele ka tlhompha batho ba holo o tla ba le matlhatsi batho ba holo ba na le matlhatsi o le roba tlhompha re ho sa ba tlhomphi le batswadi ba haho awa o tla be ja go tsa nageng ke le tseng ka lefa yona ya batho ba swa ha ba sekolo o ntse go bona ke na gore ba ithute ba kgona ba ho ngwala le go bala ka re mathomo ga buka ena ke background ya ka gore bophelo ba ka o tla khwetsa bo le gona ka mona go tswela pele ke bontšha gore le tshwanetse batho ba so ba ithute ba dikolong ga o thumetsa tšea ka re go nyaka batho ba ithutileng mabapi le di-equipment tse le na le tsona tse di swa equipment di nyaka motho a ithutileng mo bukeng mo go na le chapter 3 e re submit or fight gore wa ineela gore na ke a ntwe na kapa ke a lwa ke kgona go lwala na submit or fight skipping the country sacrificing the comfort of home gore ho e tswa mo ka rena re tlo traine ka ntle gape o ya ka ntle o ipetsa digara ka o kopana mathata mo tseleng yale a ka di gore o boe o ra ke sa ya o le go ka re ke bona matshwanyeng fela balang ba batho ba ithuteng ba se ka ba feleletsa ka bo rena nna ke purchase 6 ya ke tsamaya mara ka bona gore o tlhokwa ka tswela pele ka dithuto tša rena ka bonna ntho e be bolla ke papa ba le right ya re ke ithuti go ya tloela sekolo ke sa le mo 2006 a se mo le reno o ka kgwela setšhaba sa borena awa tshwantse bile matšatši a leo batho ba so ka hone ka gore mmušo o na le mo a kgone o tlhakana le bona ka go ba thusa ka mašheleng gore ba sekolong ba sa le bo primary school and other things so on le gore ba itshware gabotse e tere batho ba ba ratetse ka gore go na le bana ba bangwe ga ba tlhomphe batho ba bagolo ke ntwe ke hatelela gore no batho ba bagolo ba re o tshwanetse le ba tlhomphe gore le tlebe le be le mahlatsi mo batho ba baswa ba tlebe le mahlatsi.